Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm doing a nice freezer meal prep. All right, if you're new here, hi, I'm Claire. Welcome, come on in, make yourselves comfortable. My life is all about being budget friendly and living conveniently. And honestly, meal prep is one of the easiest ways that I achieve that budget lifestyle. Now, traditional meal prepping, I do it now and again, but I find that I prefer meal prepping for the freezer because I hate having the same thing like every day. And when I meal prep for like a week, I'm like not into that. I'm not into keeping the same dish in the refrigerator and eating out of it every day. I would much prefer to have something on a weekly or so rotation from the freezer. So this is definitely just gonna be like a mishmash of different things. We've got kid-friendly stuff, we've got family-style stuff, and everything in between for this nice little freezer meal prep. So hopefully I can give you a little bit of inspiration to plan ahead and throw some stuff in your freezer. All right, so the first thing I'm going to be making is some chicken broth. Now, I like to do this every time I get a rotisserie chicken. I save all of my leftovers in the freezer and then I make broth with it. I also add any type of vegetable scraps that I've got. I love using corn cobs for this. They make really, really delicious broth. And I'm also adding, I've got rosemary from the garden. I got a little bit of ginger. I've also got some, I don't know, these little frozen, what are they called? Pearl onions. I just had like a few of them in a baggie. So I was like, yeah, let's use those. I got garlic in there, a bay leaf. I've also got some frozen zucchini, and I do not measure anything. I just fill the water up to the top and I let this simmer for a seriously long time, like 10 hours, and just at a low simmer. And seriously, look at this color. This smelled so good. I immediately wish that I was making soup. But of course, we're prepping today. So what I like to do is I like to use these things called soup cubes. Well, actually, Soup Cubes is the name brand, but this is an Amazon knockoff version. I have mentioned these on my channel before because they are so handy. Each of these is 1 cup, and it has a little measurement on the side that'll show you where the half cup mark is too, so it's fantastic for meal prep. And these are just going to go right in the freezer, and I got 8 full cups of broth out of this. And I mean, it was made out of scraps. It like literally cost me nothing. So it was really a great way to be resourceful, use your leftovers. And I use these for not just soups, but if I'm making rice, if I'm doing a casserole, anything where there's liquid involved, this will just make it taste all that much better. All right, next I'm going to be making some zucchini bread. This time of year, my garden is totally full of zucchini, and sometimes when they get really big like that, they're just like not that delicious to eat, and making bread with them is the best way. Now, you guys, I scored this at the thrift store, this new food processor, and it's got this shredder attachment. Okay, previously I was shredding all of my zucchini with a cheese grater and it was taking ages and hurting my hands. And like now I'm obsessed with my new $15 thrifted appliance. And you'll see the inside of that zucchini, it's not so nice. This is the perfect zucchini to make bread out of. And this is actually my Aunt Diane's recipe. If you're interested in the full recipe, let me know. Maybe I'll make like a dedicated zucchini bread video. I don't know. It's extra delicious, but really simple. I mean, pretty comparable to when you just find if you typed in zucchini recipe or zucchini bread recipe. The difference that I like to do is I like to swap out 1 of the tablespoons of cinnamon for pumpkin spice, and it really elevates the zucchini bread. So maybe give that a try if you're a zucchini bread fan. But you know, just basic ingredients. It's basically like a cake that's got a vegetable in it. And instead of chicken eggs, I'm using quail eggs because if you follow me, then you might know we raise quail in our family. And I have so many of them. Like, it's ridiculous how many quail eggs I have right now. So the ratio, it's like 4 eggs equals like 1 chicken egg, 4 quail eggs. So you have to use a boatload of them to make anything. But, you know, it's a little bit fun. They're really cute. We enjoy having them. So I'll crack a few extra eggs if I have to. And yeah, it's a really basic recipe. I really like it though because it makes 2 loaves, which I find is great for meal prepping because we usually throw 1 in the freezer and then eat 1. Today I'm actually doing a couple mini loaves, which my kids totally love doing. So I've got the 1 big loaf and the 2 minis, but I also like sometimes we'll do 4 minis. Sometimes we'll just do 2 like regular size ones. I also like doing this in like the metal tins you get from like Dollar Tree because those freeze in the tin really well and those make really nice gifts as well. Like if you come to my house this time of year for dinner, you're leaving with a loaf of zucchini bread. Like, that's just how it is. And I've got like 20 of these loaves in my freezer right now. And I'm using my little Food Saver. It's not a Food Saver brand, of course. It's like some knockoff, but it was way cheap and it works really, really well. I'll link it down below. I feel like every budget-friendly person needs a way to save food, and the vacuum sealer, it's a must-have. But these 2 mini loaves, we're going to snack on these this week, and then the big loaf is going to go into the freezer. Next, we're doing breakfast burritos, and let me tell you, I got a lot of quail eggs I got to use. So breakfast burritos is like a total staple of a freezer meal prep for me. I usually just like use what I have. And today our protein of choice, obviously the eggs, but also pork. And we're using this huge block of Monterey Jack cheese I got at Sam's Club. And of course, here I am coming in clutch with that shredder attachment on my brand new favorite appliance. And I'm actually just going to shred the whole thing. I'm not going to use the whole thing, but this obviously then I can throw in the fridge, and I've just prepped my whole block of cheese. When it comes to veggies, I'm using this beautiful green pepper because it was from my garden. But I always just use what I have. Sometimes it's a tomato, sometimes, it's whatever, broccoli, corn, throw it in there. My meat of choice, as I said, we're using sausage because most of these are probably going to be eaten by my husband, and that's his preference. And here I go with my approximately 1,000 quail eggs that I have to open. But they're so cute. It's fine. I'm willing to put in the work for the quail eggs. Just adding some salt and pepper, keeping it simple. A little bit of milk to make it extra fluffy and creamy. And I'm just scrambling those eggs. And I like to add the veggie in with the egg that I'm scrambling. I don't know why. You certainly don't have to do it that way, but that's my vibe today. And now, assembly line style, I am just going to put all of these delicious breakfast burritos together. And you guys, I saw this on TikTok. It was someone working at a Taco Bell, and they were showing you how they wrap their burritos, how they kind of like spread it with one of the halves of the tortillas. I don't know if that makes sense. I mean, just watch what I'm doing. And I was like, I'm going to try it. I saw it on the TikTok. I'm going to do it. And you know what? It worked really well. So that's probably how I'm going to be wrapping my burritos forever. And now I'm going to wrap them in foil. I just find that they store the best in foil. I've tried plastic wrap before, but plastic wrap is just like a pain in the butt to try to do this with because it sticks to itself so hard. So I just use foil. And then I'm just going to throw them into a big old freezer bag. And then they're going to be there for whenever we need them on those busy mornings where I just need some protein but don't want to do anything. I can just pop in these bad boys in the microwave. I think a lot of these will end up with my husband because he hates having to do any type of cooking in the morning. He would just assume go without. So those will be for him. All right, next we're doing lasagna because what freezer meal prep is complete without lasagna? I'm telling you, it's my number one thing I meal prep for the freezer. And I'm making my own sauce today, guys, feeling ambitious. But really, it's because I have all of these tomatoes from last year's garden. And before I put this year's garden tomatoes in there, I got to use them. So I'm making my own sauce. And I did not peel these tomatoes, none of that. I'm just putting the whole thing in there. And I also have no sauce recipe. I just am cooking it with my heart. So I'm adding some onions. I've got some whole garlic in there, and I'm not adding any liquid. I'm just letting that, melt, get all mushy. And I will go over this with my immersion blender, and I'll just blend all of the skins in there so you won't get any weird chunky bits. Adding a bunch of basil from my garden. If you follow me, you might know I went to Italy earlier this year, and I learned, I took a cooking class, and I learned that Italian Americans make food a lot more complicated than the Italians. And actually, most of their food is very, very simple, and their sauces are quite simple. So keeping it simple today, being Italian. And actually, I'm cheating real hard with this one. That is literally cornstarch and water because I needed this to thicken up. I just did not want to wait. I just did not want to wait for it to evaporate. I don't have that kind of time. My big burner is being used right there, as you see, for the broth that simmered all day. So I didn't have time for that. So I threw in some salt, threw in a little bit of sugar, taste it as you go, see what you need. And now for the meat. Now, controversial. I like to use half ground turkey and half Italian sausage. And I know everyone likes their own little thing. I find that the turkey just takes on the flavor of the sausage. Turkey's way cheaper. Turkey's pretty good for you. You might as well save a couple dollars and throw turkey in there instead of beef or instead of all Italian sausage. And even in my really cheapest of days, I will swap the meat out entirely for red lentils. It's full of protein and you can buy them at Dollar Tree. They are so delicious that way. So if you're really looking to save a buck, or maybe if you're a vegetarian, try using lentils in your sauce instead. So now, being the wonderful lazy person I am trying to scoop that meat out. Instead of just draining the fat out of it, I just carefully scooped it out with a spoon. But whatever works. Now we're going to make the ricotta layer, which I think is the elite layer of a lasagna. And I'm just doing 2 of those cartons of ricotta and back again with quail eggs. Because when I tell you they literally never run out, I'm getting like a dozen a day. I'm overrun with quail eggs. And to this, I'm adding Italian seasoning and some Parmesan cheese. I honestly never use a recipe when I make lasagna. I cook with my heart. That's the theme today. We are cooking with our hearts and souls. Now I'm just assembling it, and you'll notice these are little pans. These are lasagnas for 2, you guys, because I'm brilliant like that. And actually, it's because my kids are starting all of their extracurriculars soon, and there's going to be 2 days a week coming up where they're going to be eating dinner before they go to their extracurriculars, leaving my husband and I to make dinner probably after they go to bed, after their extracurriculars. And I thought, why not just have this done and out of the way? So on those nights, I don't also have to come home from tennis camp and also make dinner. So now those will be there for us on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And you will also note that I cook those noodles even though they're oven ready, because I hate that. It's just not a thing I do. And, classic lasagna. You just stack it up in layers. And my top layer, I like to do mozzarella, obviously. But I also like to sprinkle in like a little bit of Italian seasoning and some Parmesan right on top. And these freeze like a dream, and you cook them just the way you'd cook like a frozen Stouffer's lasagna. They take just a little bit longer, obviously, than if I were to bake one right now. But, I'll throw one of those in while I'm putting the kids to bed, and then my husband and I will have dinner. Perfect. All right, next, we're making Uncrustables, but not really, because it's a pizza Uncrustable. Because that's what I do. And actually, this is a brilliant idea. My best friend actually bought these for my kids for Christmas like years ago, and we have used them all the time. They're these little stamps that you can make anything into an Uncrustable. And this is like such a budget-friendly recipe. This is for my youngest son. He loves this kind of stuff. And he has requested cheese-only pizza pockets. So I'm just throwing a little sauce in there. It's just marinara sauce from Aldi. It was like $1. My bread actually came from a bread outlet store because I am lucky enough to live near a bread outlet. I mean, come on, the bread loaf was 25 cents. Amazing. The cheese was like $2 for that big old bag, and I can make like a dozen of these. And they're so easy and they're so delicious. They're perfect for my kids for like a main dish, but also good for me if I need a little snacky snack in the night. What I like to do is I like to take them out of the freezer and throw them in the air fryer, and they get all toasty on the outside and then they're all cheesy on the inside. It is literally the most perfect little snack. And honestly, you could make a pocket out of anything. You could put anything in there. You could make little taco pockets. You can make little grilled cheeses. Of course, you could do the classic PB&J if you wanted to. It's really a good idea. I will leave a link to the little stamps down below because we've gotten just so much use out of them over the years. And gosh, now that I'm even recording this voiceover right now, I'm about to go throw one of those in the air fryer. They look really good. And now we are going to end this with a little bit of ice cream meal prep. Now, I have a great appliance called a Ninja Creami, and if you want to know what that is, I will leave the link to the video I made about it down below because it has been a game changer. Basically, you got to put your liquids in these little pints and you got to freeze them for 24 hours before you can make ice cream out of them. And my latest favorite, you guys, that was a protein shake. I split it in two. I add a little milk as a chocolate protein shake, and then I add a scoop of PB Fit powdered peanut butter. I mix it all up. This is the most filling, delicious, sweet snack ever. Like, it is the best thing I've ever bought. I mean, I know I said that about my food processor. I got a lot of really exciting appliances right now. Anyway, so I've been prepping these every week. So I always have like a couple of pints on deck. if I'm feeling the need for something sweet, but I also want to get like full off of it, is perfect. And then for the kids, I am making a pineapple sorbet. This is like their favorite thing. And seriously, you guys, go watch the Ninja Creami video if you haven't already, because this is the first one I do in that video. It turns out so ridiculously creamy. Like, I don't know how it works. I don't know how they do it. All it is pineapple and pineapple juice. It's so delicious. The kids are definitely going to want that probably tomorrow. That hardly ever lasts very long in the freezer. But nonetheless, we prep them anyway. And there you have it. Am I exhausted? Yes, absolutely. Is my kitchen a disgusting mess? Why, yes, it is. But look at all of the food that I made. Think of all the work I'm not going to have to do later. Totally worth it. All right, you guys, that's it for this video. I hope I inspired you to plan ahead and throw some easy things in your freezer to help you, I don't know, live a more organized life. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and come on back for more content like this. And of course, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.